Why are left-wing people in the US called liberals? The US doesn't have any meaningful leftist political movements, so classical liberals are about as far left as you can get. By the standards of most other countries, we have a right-wing party and a far-right party, and that's it. Decades of conflation of the two terms by Rush Limbaugh and his ilk. The idea of liberal politics goes back as far back as the 16th century. It's evolved a lot of the last 400 years. And naturally it's splintered into multiple different things. Particularly in the United States, the word liberalism has been gradually appropriated by champions of collectivism who reject liberalism in its classical sense. In short, many people in America misunderstand the term, but then have misapplied it so much that it became the new truth in America. Also bear in mind that American politics are so right-leaning that even our liberal party is right of center compared to the world standards. Because America is a walking contradiction. It's a country that doesn't make sense in any possible way. Just look at other contradictions about it. 1. Largest economy in the world, but it has no healthcare. 2. Promotes democracy abroad, can't even jail people who start coups. As a matter of fact, they vote them in as president. 3. Has some of the best universities in the world, but they are not affordable for anybody there. The public education system is, for some reason, crap, and the people there are dumb as a bag of hammers. 4. They call it a country of immigrants, and it simultaneously has some of the most anti-immigrant attitudes in the world. And the system? It's rigged against legal immigration, but illegally immigrating? It's probably better. You just have to wait for a president to come in and legalize you eventually. So now you see, this is why liberals mean left in America. Because it's the farthest left the US goes. Compared to most other countries, the US would be moderate right and far right. Liberal doesn't really exist the way the rest of the world defines it. Most socialists and other left-wing people in the US do not refer to themselves as liberal. If an American describes themselves as liberal, then they are usually center-left or centrist progressive. It's only the right-wingers that use the word as an all-encompassing term for anyone left of right-wing. Because in the US, liberals are also a right-wing pro-capitalism party. The Republicans are just a far to very far right nationalistic party, so the liberals look left-wing in comparison. Because about 70 years ago, the US Communist Party was abolished by the Republicans. They couldn't risk Americans voting in their interests in the polls. Now the centrist Democrats are considered the most liberal party. There is a wide spectrum of ideologies under the general umbrella of liberalism. In the US, liberalism generally refers to social liberalism, which is a center-left ideology. The short answer is BC people are ignorant. That's why many of us have started calling ourselves leftists to differentiate between what conservatives in the US think a left-wing ideology is from what an actual left-wing ideology is. Liberalism is a right-wing position, but the USA was straight up murdering their actual left-wing. The New Deal popularized social liberal politics and became synonymous with the American left, since actual leftists get shot. The oversimplified answer is because the US has a two-party system, and both parties are pro-capitalist. Ask Rupert Murdoch. Liberal and libertarian are very different terms. In Australia, if you are a liberal, you are center-right, which is where the Democratic Party is from MyPov. On a global relative, both parties are right-wing neoliberal parties. We don't have a left-wing party that identifies with socialism in the global sense. In comparing the two parties, the major difference between them is their economic and foreign policy. Liberals believe in promoting global liberalism via expansive economic trade, whereas conservatives prefer a realist, protectionist approach. Oh yeah, your view of liberalism is called classical liberalism, and about 100 years ago it changed to include social issues and regulation and government services, and became modern liberalism. It doesn't really matter, because political terms change meanings and values a lot, and it's basically an easy way for people to categorize you and dismiss your opinion. Conservatives generally want to conserve the original interpretation of the Constitution and the intentions of the Founding Fathers. They want the government to operate as close to possible as it initially did when it was founded. Liberals take a more liberal interpretation of the Constitution. They believe that the world changes and the Constitution is a living document open to be interpreted by the people living in current times. Because of this, they tend to be more progressive and stray from how America operated in the past.